Anglesey, Ynys Môn, is an island on the northwest coast of Wales, an area rich in prehistoric monuments. We visit windswept Iron Age ruins as well as medieval chapels. In the last episode, we visited St Cytiau's Church, and today, on Holyhead Mountain, we visit Tŷ Mawr, an Iron Age village, followed by rugged windswept church of St Cwyfans. Cytiau'r Gwyddelod. Our first day we visited an area of heather and gorse west of Holyhead on Anglesey, marked Cytiau'r Gwyddelod on the map. This Welsh name means Irishmen's huts, but only the stone foundations survive today. It was at the base of Holyhead Mountain that we met the mayor of Anglesey and discovered the hut circles. The site's position high above the coast would have allowed a clear view of ships approaching from the Irish Sea. The Irish occupied parts of Anglesey after the Romans, but these huts date before this era. The hidden foundations of hut circles on Anglesey and North Wales rarely survive, but Cytiau'r Gwyddelod, a site up to 8 hectares scattered across the slopes of Holyhead Mountain, are well maintained. The first survey in 1865 discovered evidence for over 50 huts, yet by the 1930s only 20 survived. Originally believed to be Roman from coins discovered at the site, the huts have been recently dated to the Iron Age, about 500 BC, and they were probably used for agricultural purposes in the 6th century. Finds at the site include flint arrowheads, part of a stone axe, and Neolithic or early Bronze Age pottery sherds. Most of the buildings interpreted as houses measure between 6 to 10 metres across. These huts had thick stone walls supporting rafters for a tall conical roof formed with wooden poles, and the larger buildings incorporated interior wooden posts supporting the upper ends of the poles. The whole structure would have been covered with turf or thatch, reminiscent of the roundhouses reconstructed at Flag Fen. Some had part subterranean sheds for storage and workshops or cattle shelters. The entrance to one hut is a long curved passage, possibly to easily herd animals or for defensive purposes. At Cytiau'r Gwyddelod, the hut buildings vary and were modified throughout history. Simple yet substantial huts sit beside more complex buildings, some incorporating enclosed walled areas and some larger oval-shaped buildings featuring internal dividing walls. Many huts featured a hearth, sometimes with a stone platform or other stone furniture, including ledges and basins, stone tools, spindles and whetstones. Querns for grinding grain were discovered, as well as metal slag associated with metalworking. 1980s excavations of 2 of the huts revealed Mesolithic flint tools and charcoal in a hearth that dated to the late Neolithic, indicating a very long occupation. The larger hut, 25 metres in diameter, predated 200 BC, and this date was calculated from a pile of limpet shells from this time, and their position was discovered on top of a stone wall. The wall of this hut was later extended to enclose a yard. Richer soil near to the stone wall appears to have once been a raised vegetable bed, while plough marks in the field below showed evidence for growing crops like wheat, barley and oats. It is thought that only 1 or 2 farmsteads would ever have been in use at one time during this period spanning 1,000 years. Much of the settlement faces towards the southwestern end of the terrace, while the farmstead building is further to the northeast. Another similar hut circle settlement appears to have existed at Bryn Ire Farm in Llansadwyn. Although nothing remains, excavation plans have been used to create a reconstruction of an Iron Age village at St Fagan's Open Air Museum in South Wales. Similar buildings have been reconstructed near Anglesey's Clynon Windmill. The Cytiau'r Gwyddelod hut circles are opposite the car park on the road leading to South Stack, close to the RSPB centre. The nearest town is Holyhead. second flight from a windy, rocky beach couldn't get too close to St Cwyfans Church or the little church in the sea in Llangadwr, Anglesey, Wales. St Cwyfans Church is dedicated to St Kevin, who founded a monastery in County Wicklow, Ireland. It originally stood at the end of a peninsula between two bays, but coastal erosion cut off the peninsula and turned Cribbenai, where the church stands, into a small tidal island. Nowadays, a causeway to the island allows access to the church. The medieval church dates from the 12th century, being reconstructed in the 14th century and renovated in the 19th century when erosion caused some of the graveyard to fall into the sea. At this time, a new building was used instead, further inland at Llangapwan. St Cwyfans fell into disrepair until 1893, when a local architect, Howard Hughes, constructed a seawall around the Cribbenai and restored the building. It is a Grade 2 listed building, and the graveyard still features several illegible flat grave markers dating back to the 1700s. In 1766, an English priest was appointed. The elderly Dr. Thomas Bowles had about 500 parishioners, but only 5 could understand English. In January 1773, the congregation protested to an ecclesiastical court, and subsequently only Welsh-speaking priests were sent to primarily Welsh-speaking parishes. A short walk at low tide across the beach leads to the rocky causeway and steps, although it is prudent to take account of the tide times. The scenery around Cor Fan really sets the tone and is great for photography. In the next episode, we explore the area east of Anglesey to discover a Neolithic burial chamber and a Romano-British village. Please like, subscribe, click the bell icon. It will help us bring you more illuminating content.